Alright, once again, this is our volume for the sanctuary, the ST button, okay, red button, master volume for what the sanctuary hears. From here, this is our input gain, or our input volume. If you think of it as water coming down a water line, alright, the main water line is you speaking through the microphone, and the water comes down the line into the channel. It enters the channel here. So this is how much water you're letting come through that open, and when you're opening up that pipe. Okay, you want a nice good flow down through the channel. So when it gets to our output gain, which is this slider sends the water to the master slider, which is the sanctuary volume. Okay, so they all work hand in hand. Now, what you can do once the water enters in, or the voice enters in, you've got a 3-band parametric EQ. This is our highs. It's treble, like on your car stereo. Mid-range, and then your bass or your low end. High end will give you that real high piercing sound. The mid-range, if you got too much of it, will make you sound like you're in a big tin can. And the low, of course, it gives you that big bass rumble. And what you're trying to do with this is you're trying to make it sound natural, like the person standing next to you talking. So this is what you do to tailor the voice. You don't use the EQ over there. Alright? This little button right here, it's got a little 80 and like a little sign over it, sort of like a division sign. What that does is it's very subtle. If you look over here on this equalizer, you see 63 and 100. If this was a 30-band EQ, you would see 63, 80, excuse me. That's Harry. Hold on. Yeah, Harry. Yes, and it's already paid for. Oh, okay. And yeah. Alright. What this does is it's very subtle. When you push that button down, if you could see all these little lines right here, these little sliders, what it does is it pulls them all down. It turns everything from 80 hertz off. Okay. Which gets rid of that real low rumble sometimes. Sometimes. It doesn't always do that. A lot of times you can try it and see if you have that rumble, push that button, see if it gets rid of it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's an 80 hertz cut. Alright? Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, the little peak light. Let's say that, once again, we're using water. If I have this up really high, this gain, and I'm letting water just rush in, it's going to back up. Same thing with your audio. Your audio backs up, and when it backs up, it lights up this light, and it's called a peak light. It's showing that you're getting too hot of a signal. Now, on occasionally, maybe once, it might flash, and that doesn't hurt. But you should kind of back it down just a little bit until the peak light goes out. Okay. All right? So if that peak light starts peaking out there, then you need to back down the input gain, shut the water off a little bit so you get rid of the peak light. That causes distortion, which sends it down through the line, which sends it out to the amplifier, and in turn it becomes distortion coming out the speakers. All right? Things that are very hot signals, the CD player. Okay? If you ever hook a keyboard in, sometimes they have a really hot signal. Things like that, and you might have to turn it down a little bit, get rid of that peak light.
Which that is one thing that we're going to have to. The keyboard is hooked into the PA.
Okay, is it going to be here tonight?
Yep, that's right.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll have to try that here in a few minutes. Okay, so we got our peak light, our 80 hertz cut, our gain, our parametric EQ. This right here is our aux send all the way across. You notice all these lights over here, all these knobs are blue, and all these knobs are blue. Well, they go hand in hand. Okay. The tape deck is hooked up to aux send 1, meaning the send to the record, to record what's coming through the board is on tape, aux send 1. The master volume, just like this is the master volume in our sanctuary, this is our master send, sending the signal out to the tape deck. Okay? This is our aux send to the recording out for each individual channel. So whatever you've got that you want to record, you have to turn up each individual aux send 1. All right. Okay? And it's a balancing act. The only thing that you have to follow as far as a signal is the lights on the meter over there on your tape deck. Yeah. All right. If it's too hot, first you want to try backing this down a little bit, each individual channel, try to find what's causing it to overdrive, and then if all fails and you still can't get it, then you can back down the master output.
Okay.
These sends right here are these returns. These are returns. You won't be using these. What this is for is, let's say that if you have a digital delay that you want to put on your voice, it comes out aux send, one of the aux send 1 or 2. It has to make a loop. Goes into the input of the tape or the delay, out the output back into aux send 1 return. So you got a signal, you have how strong the signal is going out to the delay, how strong the delay signal is coming back into the mixer. But you're not using anything like that, so these are off. So don't worry about those. Okay, this little pre button. What pre means is when you push it down, this volume control separates this from this. Okay? When this is pushed down, I can turn this volume up and down all day long, and it does not affect the level of that. If the button's up, as I turn this up, my signal to the CD player is going to go increase. All right? The unfortunate thing is aux2 does not have a pre, and this is called pre and post button. All right? Pre meaning before this fader, pushed up. Post meaning after this fader, means this controls that volume. All right? So this one is post. So the downside to having your computer to this one, when I raise this volume, everything hooked into that will go up. So what you might want to do is try to, now when you split it, you're going to lose some of the signal probably. So it might be, you might have to try it, see if it works. But does that make sense? That post? Okay.
Yep, sure does. Sure does.
The next knob is my pan control. If we were running stereo, all right. We're not running stereo, so you can leave everything panned. We're using the top slider, which is left, or we're using the top output to our mains, so it's left. So we can leave everything panned to the left.
Okay.